Walk into almost any big box store right now and it looks busy. Full carts, lines at checkout, parking lots that don't feel empty. Now look at the number that just came out. U.S. retail sales fell in July, the first drop in 9 months. Two things that should not both be true are: if people were actually pulling back, the stores would show it. Quieter aisles, shorter lines, empty shelves nobody's restocking. That's not what's happening. Walmart just posted its slowest store growth in 6 years, and its website grew by nearly a quarter. Target's foot traffic went up, not down. Home Depot posted more revenue than a year ago. So the falling number is real, and the packed stores are real, and neither one is lying. Which means the actual question isn't whether people are spending, it's what they've quietly stopped buying and what they started buying instead without anyone announcing it. Walmart is the cleanest place to see the split first because it's not two different companies pulling in two different directions. It's one company doing both at once. In the same quarter, Walmart's U.S. store sales grew 2.6%, the slowest pace it's posted in 6 years. Its U.S. e-commerce sales grew 24%. Same customers, same company, same 3 months, moving in almost opposite directions depending on which door they walked through. That's not a company losing customers. It's a company watching customers choose a different way to be a customer. The shopper didn't stop buying groceries from Walmart. They stopped standing in the aisle to do it and started having it delivered instead. Store-fulfilled delivery specifically grew even faster than the online number as a whole. The store didn't get less necessary, it got repurposed, quietly turning into a fulfillment center with a parking lot attached, while the storefront itself did less of the actual selling. If that were the whole story, you'd expect it to explain Home Depot too. It doesn't, not directly. Home Depot doesn't have anything close to Walmart's online surge. Its growth came almost entirely from people walking into physical stores. But look at what they walked in for. Home Depot's own finance chief said the growth was broad-based demand for smaller projects, while big renovations stayed under pressure. Housing turnover is stuck near record lows. Mortgage rates are sitting around 6.7%, and homeowners locked into those mortgages aren't selling, remodeling, or ripping out kitchens. What they're doing instead is fixing what's already there: a cracked tile, a broken fence board, a paint job. The kind of project that costs a few $100s, not tens of thousands. That's a different flavor of the same decision Walmart shoppers are making. Nobody in Home Depot cut spending to zero. They just stopped signing up for the big, discretionary version of spending and kept the small, necessary version alive. Fewer trips, actually. Transactions slipped during the quarter, but each trip carried a bigger basket because customers weren't dropping in for one thing anymore. They were consolidating. So far, both companies point the same direction: not less spending, redirected spending, which raises the obvious challenge to this whole idea. Maybe that's just a coincidence. Maybe Walmart's online growth is really about logistics investment paying off years later, and Home Depot's small project bump is really about a housing market that has nothing to do with how Walmart shoppers behave. Two unrelated companies, two unrelated stories forced into a pattern that isn't actually there. Target is where that objection runs out of road. Target isn't explained by e-commerce infrastructure, and it isn't explained by housing rates. It sells clothes, groceries, home goods, toys. Its traffic had been sluggish for over a year. Then, over the past year, Target cut prices on more than 10,000 items, mostly everyday food and household products, deliberately competing harder on the basics. In the quarter right after leaning into those cuts, store traffic rose 3.6% and total comparable sales rose 3.8%, the strongest traffic number the company had posted in years. Nothing about Target's supply chain or its real estate changed. The thing that changed was the price tag, and customers who'd been staying away came back the moment the value case got obvious again. 3 companies, 3 different mechanisms on the surface: a delivery option, a housing freeze, a wave of markdowns, and one identical shape underneath all 3. None of them got their spending back by convincing customers to spend more freely. They got it back by making it easier, cheaper, or more convenient to spend on the specific thing that customer already needed. That's not three coincidences. That's what happens when a squeezed household starts asking a sharper question before every purchase. Is this one actually worth it? And is there an easier way to get it? That's the mechanism the falling headline number was hiding. Retail sales fell 0.6% in July because plenty of purchases genuinely got cut, the ones that were optional or where the easier version wasn't available. But that same household didn't stop buying groceries, didn't stop fixing what broke around the house, didn't stop looking for the store willing to compete on price. They just got ruthless about which purchases still cleared the bar. Selective consumption isn't the absence of spending, it's spending with a filter turned on that wasn't there before. The second-order effect of that filter is what actually separates winners from the rest of the industry right now. It's not that some retailers have loyal customers and others don't. It's that some retailers gave the filtered shopper an easy reason to say yes. Walmart made it more convenient. Home Depot made the smaller version available and worthwhile. Target made the price obviously fair. But retailers who didn't clear that bar simply don't show up in these numbers at all. The stores that look empty right now aren't full of people who ran out of money. They're the ones nobody could find a good enough reason to walk into. And that's the part a shopper never really notices about themselves. Someone who still drives to the store every week, still fills a cart, still feels like nothing much has changed, has actually been making dozens of small, unconscious trade-offs the entire time. Picking delivery over browsing, picking the smaller project over the big, and waiting for the item to go on sale before buying it at all. None of those decisions feel dramatic in the moment. Stacked together across tens of millions of households, they're large enough to shave a national number down by more than 0.5% in a single month, while every store they actually walked into still looked exactly as full as it always has. So the packed cart and the falling number were never in conflict. They were the same story, told from two different distances. Zoom out to the national figure, and it looks like people pulled back. Zoom in to any single store that gave them a real reason to show up, and it looks like nothing changed at all. The American shopper didn't disappear from the economy this summer. They just got precise about it, and the only retailers growing right now are the ones who managed to stay on the right side of that precision.